Hey everybody, it's Cor from CorAstrology. Wow, I'm sitting at this most amazing place. My view, I'm sitting right between the two rock markers of Adam's calendar. We're sitting right between the two of them. I don't know if you can kind of see. There's the one on the one side, there's the other one on the other side. I've been filming it this morning, and I decided I'm going to do a little new moon YouTube clip for the upcoming Cancer new moon. I have not got a tripod. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even going to be here. I was meant to be back in Johannesburg, but then with all the COVID and the lockdowns and Gauteng being the epicenter of the COVID, I decided to stay a bit longer here at Kaapsehoop and film out at Adam's calendar. It's a magnificent day today, and I thought, well, let me just do a YouTube on the new moon. So it might be a little bit wobbly. Forgive me about that. I don't have a tripod with me. I'm kind of leaning up against the rock, so I might move up and down a little bit as I'm filming. I decided to start off with the recording by pulling one of Gabi van Heerden's beautiful cards, mandala cards, and of course, what would come up would be this beautiful power card. The other day I was here with two gentlemen who had compasses, and as you walk around this monolith that I'm sitting right next to, this one here, with a compass, it completely interferes with the magnetic earth of the compass, and the compass goes haywire. Normally where is north suddenly becomes west, and it's just fascinating. So I'm sitting in this amazing powerful position between these two vibrating megaliths that were set up thousands of years ago by probably shaman or priests of tribes of ancient civilizations. And it was said that possibly between these two rocks is where there was a vortex of energy that one connected to connect to the universe. And I'm feeling it. I'm sitting right here filming, and I'm glad that I can share it with you. So let me read this power card that I pulled. It says, I connect to and draw on my personal power. I'm responsible for myself. I stand in my own power and create my own boundaries. So I think that's very relevant for the upcoming new moon in Cancer, because Cancer is synonymous and a symbol for home and nurturing and connecting with one's own inner sense of safety, as well as feeding oneself, feeding other people, being a mother. And I do like in the Buddhist philosophy the trying to get comfy here, the notion that, or the suggestion, look at everything around you as something that was your mother before and treat it as though it's your mother. So if I look at the tree ahead of me, I can think, well, that was my mother, so how am I going to respect that tree? And equally so with the moon being a new moon. So both the sun and the moon will be at 18 degrees of Cancer on the 10th of July. And this will bring a focus in our lives to wherever your 18 degrees of Cancer lies in your chart. Now, Cancer is about nurturing self and feeling, where do I feel at home? And I find it so pivotal in a way, because my natal sun is in the 4th house, that I'm here exploring ancient relics. Thanks to COVID, because normally I travel overseas. But now I'm traveling locally, and I'm realizing there's such gems in my own country. By the way, that tree behind me there is the most northern aspect of this calendar. I'm sitting right in the middle of it. My calendar, my camera, that's the most southern point. West is to my right, is to my left. So here I am connecting with my own home and the origin of the ancestors of our world that we live on. I don't know how many thousands of years ago the tribe of people or humans created this stone circle, but clearly it was a sense of homecoming for them. It was a sense of them connecting to the environment. Where Orion's belt rises in the evening sky are 3 stone markers connecting with Orion's belt. Right next to it is a monolithic structure that looks like Horus, the ancient god of Egypt, which is a representation of light, and even Horus's body represents heaven, and Horus's eyes represent the moon and the sun. So already thousands of years ago, our ancestors connected to the life force, which is the sun, which is Horus, because he represents leadership potential through light and through protecting humanity through the wisdom of connecting to the sun. And of course the ancients wanted to know where the sun was so that they could figure out when to sow their crops and how to eat. So somewhere along the line, for myself today, the journey of connecting to what is home for me and my ancestry is this little pilgrimage I've done out to Adam's calendar. So let us look at all 12 signs and what this means for you, this new moon happening on the 10th of July. Also, before I continue with all the 12 signs, let me indicate that on the 10th of July, as the new moon at 18 degrees occurs, it makes a sextile to Uranus at 14 degrees. And this indicates, if Cancer indicates our home and our inner safety and our inner sense of roots and ancestry and belonging and nurturing and mothering and feeding ourselves, and we need to be reminded that if we think of a crab as the symbolism of Cancer, the crab is a very hard shell on the outside and it looks really tough, and it is a cardinal sign, so it's very good in leadership. However, there is that very gentle underbelly of the Cancer. I'm so sorry about this wobble. I don't know where to lean my arm to film. I'm going to try and lie on this rock. Maybe I should lie sideways. And then now I'm leaning on this rock. Maybe that's a little bit easier. Hopefully that wobbles less. So where was I? About the crab. Yes, so there is the strength, the cardinal planets are initiating and leaders, initiatory leaders. A leading mother would say, my child now needs to sleep, my child now needs to be fed, etc. And there is a lot of strength in the leadership of the cardinal sign Cancer. However, we also need to understand that the vulnerability, the very gentle nature of giving birth to a child and raising a child, the vulnerabilities that come with the responsibility of losing the child if you're not feeding your child, etc., if you don't have a home, if you don't have a roof over your head. So Cancer is very much the very basic instincts about having a roof over your head, having a home, having a family, feeding oneself, feeding the family, and with that also connecting to one's own emotional world and feeding or acknowledging what one feels and being truthful to what it is that one feels, and then nurturing one's feelings is also very much Cancerian. So with this Cancer sun having a sextile to Uranus, it's showing us all that home life is changing and what we perceive to be our own inner security and home, and how we love ourselves, how we feed ourselves, how we nurture ourselves and those around us. Uranus is asking us to be more innovative and independent and forward thinking in our ways of doing that. So change is amidst in the air, but with it being a sextile, it's looked upon as an opportunity. It's nothing kind of daunting or anything. It's more like, wow, look at this, I found my new home, pretty much like me. I mean, Adam's calendar has been here for thousands of years, and now here I am at age 52 suddenly discovering something about my own country, my own continent, that we have stone circles throughout the world, but we also have pyramids in Sudan and stone circles in other places of Africa, of course all throughout Europe as well. So there's this realization that humanity has always been connected to the earth and the universe, and equally so for every person around this new moon, there will be a sense of, where's my home, where's my new home, and this new discovery, this Uranus sextile, the new moon is about discovering a new sense of home for all of us. Simultaneously, the new moon is also trining Neptune, and of course Neptune is the planet of no boundaries. It's the planet of, for me, I see it as a very spiritual planet that is very visionary and dreamy, artistic, creative, boundaryless, and very much about feeling, one's intuition, one's imagination, trusting, believing. So I'm seeing this as the Neptune trining the new moon, while Uranus is sextiling the new moon, as very much trust that you are boundaryless, trust that you are godly within, that you have spirit within, that your light can shine, that your soul can. Neptune for me is very much the soul connecting to self, or to the ego, or to the soul. And it literally is boundaryless, just knowing that whatever dreams you have, whatever visions you have, trust in them, believe in them, and they are now with the new moon. And the new moon is always a time to rest and reflect, to meditate, to be inactive, to percolate, to ruminate, to let things filter in and settle through. You know, when one says, "Look, I need to sleep on it," that's kind of the new moon energy. It's about not being active, it's about being reflective. So during this reflective new moon time, with the sun's the moon cycle going around the sun, the 29-day cycle has come to an end, and it's beginning a new cycle, which means the night sky will be black and dark. You won't see the moon in the sky. Is really a time to withdraw and reflect and think about what visions, what dreams have I got that are boundaryless. Like, don't let materialistic views or egotistical views saying I'm too old to do this, or I don't have enough money, or XYZ stop you. Because when Neptune is there, it says you are boundaryless. You can do anything that you visualize or dream you want to do. So this time of reflection, where you are thinking about what is home and what is caring for myself and what is caring for those around me mean, especially in these COVID times, especially in South Africa, because we're in our third wave and it's a lot of deaths every day. So a lot of us are thinking about how do I nurture myself? How do I build up my immune system? Where do I feel safe? How many masks do I wear? Do masks work or don't they work? What would I do if I have COVID? The sense of survival and nurturing self and nurturing others, mothering oneself. I think a lot of the exercise where one can look into the mirror and look at one's own eyes and say to oneself, I love you. Or equally so, one can look into the mirror and see oneself as a child and say, I will feed you. I will make sure you sleep well enough. I will look after you. It's almost like with the COVID pandemic and this fear of dying from the virus, as many have succumbed to. And I have great empathy and commiseration. And what does one say to anyone watching this video who's lost somebody through COVID? And my heart goes out to you. These are very trying times. So this Cancer new moon is very much about, how do I nurture myself so that my immune system is strong enough, or how do I protect myself that I don't get the virus? So this new moon in Cancer is very pivotal to where we are in today's date and time. Simultaneously, what will also be happening at the new moon is that, even though it's a bit of a wide aspect for the moon, for the sun it does fall under sunbeams, is Pluto at 25 degrees. So that is within 7 degrees of this new moon, an opposition to Pluto in Capricorn. And now Pluto, of course, is the planet of crisis. It is the planet of crisis because of the transformative powers that it has. And I can't help but think of this card, power, as well when I think of Pluto, because Pluto can make us feel as though we are oppressed, but at the same time Pluto allows us the opportunity to grow and become empowered through whatever challenging situations we're in. So as the moon, within hours after the new moon, does actually move in direct opposition to Pluto at 25 degrees, there's the sense of inner transformation. What is it that I can let go of that no longer serves me? Think of yourself as the phoenix who decides when she wants to burn herself down and arise from the ashes and renew herself and regrow. So there's a very strong sense of, okay, what is my home? What does home and feeding myself mean? Who is the mother in my life? Can I mother myself? What is required to feed myself, to make sure I'm sleeping okay? So many people suffer from insomnia. So many people struggle to eat properly throughout the day because they're so busy rushing around. It's almost like getting back to the basics, good sleeping, good eating patterns, but also mothering oneself in terms of loving oneself for whatever emotions one is going through. And, you know, a mother is somebody who takes an infant who can't walk and can't feed themselves and helps them until they're old enough to do this for themselves. And often I think we can be so outward focused, wanting to mother everybody else, that we forget to mother ourselves. So in this video, I'd like to just remind you to focus on where it is that you need to nurture yourself. What do you need to do to sleep and eat and love yourself as though you were your own mother? And with this Pluto opposition, it's almost like there's an awakening to, I need to do this. If I don't look after myself first, I can't nurture anybody else, and I can't be a good mother or look after anybody else. So let's look to the 12 signs and what this means in a little bit more detail. I'm leaning up against this rock again because my arm's getting a bit sore holding the camera. So once again, sorry about all the wobbles. So for the Aries rising, this is happening for you in an area in your life that has everything to do about family and home life and nurturing. And it is in opposition to an area in your life where the Pluto's place that is very much about your status and your work out in the world. And it would seem that there's some changes in your status or how you profess to be, or your vocation out into the world, directly linked to new beginnings around home and family life for you. And the changes, the unexpected changes that Uranus is bringing in are very much related to your self-esteem, to your finances. So you might have some new planning to do around your finances. I ate some kale chips and some nuts early on. Hope they're not stuck in my teeth. And the Neptune influence to this new moon for you is coming from very much from behind the scenes, something that's secretive or something that's not obvious to you. So this could be a spiritual energy that comes through. This could be a sense of feeling isolated, and that is driving you to have the sense of connecting to all that is, and to God and to spirit and to prayer. And with that, your own self-esteem is changing, and the new beginnings around home and family and your roots and your ancestry are pivotal in the changes that you're making in terms of your career and your status out into the world. For all the Taurians, this new moon is happening in an area that relates to how you communicate, how you teach, what your relationship to siblings is, or where your early childhood began, your neighborhood. There's a change around that, and the belief systems that go with philosophies, religions, and everything, and even higher learning teachings such as universities or priests, gurus, lecturers at university, any kind of higher form of studies. There's a sense of an ending, or a sense of a cathartic change required there for you to create this new beginning of how you are going to write or think or communicate, or the new relationship you may have with a sibling, or maybe a new daily commute, or even possibly a new neighbor that you may have in your environment. The changes that you are experiencing are very personal for all the Taurians, because Uranus is in your sign. So for the last 2 years or so since Uranus went into Taurus, there's a sense of independence and change, and Taurus being a fixed sign doesn't like change so much. But on this new moon, you will welcome your new sense of identity and your new persona related to how you're teaching, or how you have been taught by gurus, or how you counsel, how you write. Perhaps you're an author, anything to do with belief systems or foreign travel. Therein lies the change, and the support that you're getting from Neptune is very much related to good friends, society at large, how you connect to society, and what your hopes and dreams are. And there I can just say to you, be limitless, because Neptune is about being limitless and having a vision that is really great. And the area in your chart that this is coming from is very supportive. This is where hopes and dreams come true. So be limitless in your visions. Perhaps you want to teach something, perhaps you want to learn something new, and this is changing the identity of who you are in this lifetime. For Gemini, the new beginnings, the new moon is in an area of your life that is very much related to self-esteem and values and one's own finances. And the Pluto opposition to that moon is in regard to changing the resources that you receive from others. So this is emotional, physical, spiritual, financial. They've been being received by you for the last 30 odd years, and with the Saturn Pluto conjunction last year in this area in your chart, have come to an end. And as Saturn moved away into Aquarius in the last year, since December last year, you're in a phase where you're receiving resources from others. You are worthy of receiving resources from others in a new way. It's this phoenix arising from the ashes. So throughout this new moon, you will have time to think about how you can shift even further in this transformation in terms of what is my worth to others. How do I charge for my time? What self-esteem have I got? And what are the new things that I am bringing into my life that are very much related to the spiritual world, to the hidden things that are maybe foreign or unseen, where we connect to everything around us, to more of a spiritual life versus a material life. That is what is occurring for the Geminis. Okie dokies, I had to take a bit of a break there. For the Cancerians, of course, the new moon is happening in your sign. New beginnings, ending of old cycles of your persona, who you are, how you've been shining out into the world, and the great change of the opposition to Pluto is very much in relationship to relationships. Which relationships have you in the past had to let go of? How is this changing the dynamic of who you are, your persona, and how you shine out into the world? And it is around new friends and connections to society at large, especially unexpected surprises around perhaps a new friend, perhaps a way of earning an income that is, perhaps an increase suddenly in salary. Something surprising comes through to you from your friends or groups of people, and it is connecting to belief systems or foreigners, or possibly even anything to do with publishing or reading or writing, that allows you this connection to all, to spirit, to belief systems, philosophies, religions that are expansive in a way that allows you just to grow and evolve as a new person, that gives you the support in moving forward. So expect to connect more to some sort of belief system that is more open-minded, possibly more creative, or maybe even more imaginative. And the Uranian energy of possibly having friends that are more creative or artistic or visionary, or even work in the media, any of kind of the Neptune influences, is what will help you navigate this cathartic change of understanding how you interact within relationships. Who are you as a mother and a nurturing family maker, versus what relationships are you bringing into your life that allow you to be the best version of a nurturing human being? And when I say relationships are always a mirror of who we are. So it's not so much who is it that you're bringing into your life, it's more what relationship are you having with yourself? How are you nurturing yourself and looking after yourself in relationship to the friends that you have and the belief systems that you have? And as you change your belief system internally, of course, automatically the mirror image of that is the persona and the people that you bring into your life, or that will come into your life. For the Leos, this Cancer new moon, is happening in an area of your life that is very much related to withdrawing and feeling a little bit isolated, maybe needing some me time, some downtime, wanting to be alone a little bit, connecting to God, prayer, doing something on your own, yoga, walking along the beach. It's a time to rest and recharge and plug in your batteries to recharge your batteries. The changes that are occurring for you with that Pluto opposition are very much about your health. Big changes have been happening in the last year or two, and you might be tweaking the last little bit of the regenerative way of your day-to-day routine, any health matters. The co-workers that you work with, there seems to be a requirement to overhaul this entirely, and this new moon will give you an opportunity to visualize and imagine a way forward and to integrate what has been happening in the past. For the Leos, the unexpected new things are coming from an area in your life that relate to your career, your vocation, your profession, your status in the world, how you profess to be out in the world. There's the unexpected changes that come from that, and the Neptune influence has very much been support from from others, unconditional love, financial support, emotional support, spiritual support has been dissolving as you've known it over the last year or two. And this comes to a bit of a head at this new moon. There's a sense of, wow, things are really changing. There is a new sense of what I am worth in terms of what somebody else will supply. It's almost like I just trust and I believe that there is abundance and that I'll be cared for with all my needs. For the Virgo, the new moon is happening in an area that relates to friends and hopes and dreams, and also the profits of work, in other words, income coming in your way. So this is a time for you to set new hopes and dreams and intentions. Possibly a time to reflect on friendships that may not be working, or beginnings of new friendships and groups of people, and how you can be of service to society, or how society assists you. The cathartic changes that you're experiencing with the Pluto opposition are very much related to things possibly around your children, or lovers, or romance, or holidays. There's this idea that how I used to relate to my children, or how I used to take holidays, or possibly how I express myself creatively, or how I just self-express myself into the world, is being overhauled by these new dreams and ideals and hopes that you have, and a new sort of sense of connecting with people in a more powerful way. It's perhaps something that before you didn't have the confidence to do, and now suddenly you're like, wow, I've got the confidence to do this. I've got the power card, the Pluto card. I'm sitting in between these megaliths where there's definitely some power going down. You're feeling this, Virgos, in the way that you express yourself, and it's matters related to foreign countries, foreigners, new belief systems, philosophies and religions, and even educational courses that are this unexpected Uranian, innovative, greater awakener, breakthrough kind of moments that is inspiring you to do this. And it's through relationships with people that are very spiritual and are full of imagination and are limitless in their conditional love for you that awakens what it is that you're going to be feeling on this new moon in terms of your new expression and new connection to society. Wow, I've just realized as I'm sitting here that the marker rock behind me, is now making a shadow on the calendar rock in front of me. When I came here this morning, the shadow was over there, and now it's moving across, and this is actually the marker rock in Adam's calendar that I'm sitting. I've just realized as I'm filming, I'm going to flip the shadow, the time. This is the clock. I'm sitting right in the middle of an ancient clock. For Librans. So for Librans, the new moon is happening in an area that's related to your career. This is a new beginning in terms of your career and profession. What is it that you want to do differently in your career that involves more nurturing of yourself and feeding yourself and looking after yourself and being a mother to yourself and to others? There's an absolute opportunity for new beginning to reflect on how you can make this happen. And it's very much relates to cathartic big changes around home. Where has home life come to an end as you know it? Has anybody passed in your home and family? I hope not, but if so, my condolences. Pluto is an area of your life that basically says that the life that you've known at home, your roots, your ancestry, your family, the land that you're in, any work that you've done around home and family has come to an end as you know it, and it needs changing to a point that empowers you. So from feeling oppressed about home life and things around home and family, you have the opportunity now to empower yourself. And this will happen by allowing resources coming in, unexpected resources, because Uranus is in a position for all Librans that allows unexpected or great awakenings in terms of receiving your resources from other people, the financial, the emotional, the spiritual. It's like, oh, wow, I'm actually being supported with this new career that I want to have, and the changes that I need to make in my home and family life to follow this new career, there is this unexpected sort of innovative ways thinking, wow, I can actually do this. This could be, buying or selling a property or anything to do around home and family that is changing for you. And the Neptunian influence is very much related to your health. So, look well after your health with all the virus going on. Your day-to-day routine, it almost needs to be more unconditional and vast and expansive as Neptune is, imaginative, spiritual. If you can bring more of that into your day-to-day routine and to matters regarding your health, then this new moon can serve you very well in terms of figuring out who and how and what can I nurture or be a mother to, so that I can grow to be a better version. What is my personal power and success story? That is very much a reflective good time to be thinking about that during this new moon. For the Scorpios, the new moon is very much happening in an era related to your belief systems and your philosophies and your spirituality, your religion, perhaps things to do with foreigners, and a great awakening around that. The Pluto opposition has everything to do with your neighborhood, your siblings, and how you think, how you talk, how does my thinking work? How do I speak to myself? Am I mothering and nurturing to myself? Am I feeding myself? Am I looking after myself? It's very much to do with how you communicate, what words you're saying, how you talk, how you think, what you believe is where the big change is happening for all the Scorpions. And it's unexpected and sort of almost chaotic, awakening type of relationships that you're in, your marriage partner, your best friend, your live-in lover, that is awakening this great awakening that Uranus brings in to be proactive and innovative and forward thinking and shine light onto matter. So for all the Scorpio risings, this is very much about welcoming the chaos that comes in through relationships, so that you can start thinking in a new way and have a whole new belief system. And with that, the unconditional love that you can give as a romantic partner or as a lover, or anything to do around children, is awakened in a very proactive, empowering way. And the bottom line here is empower your thinking. Let go of old patterns of homes and families and maybe mother and father, because the new moon is sun and moon conjoined. So both mother and father possibly thought in a certain way, or the upbringing was in a certain way. And now with the new moon in this area of your life, it's all about changing that way of thinking and the belief systems to empower yourself. Every thought and every word that you say is about empowering how you're nurturing yourself and others. And this will bring in the exciting relationships and allow you to be very unconditionally loving. For Sagittarians, this is happening, the new moon in Cancer is happening in an area in your life where you are possibly sometimes concerned or anxious or worry or feel out of control, because it's very much where we are reliant on resources from other people. And this is highlighted for you as a change in how your self-esteem and how your finances have been running up until this point. And this new moon is saying, look, there's other ways of earning money or getting an income or being a resource to other people. And this change is coming to you in terms of your day-to-day routines, and also your health matters. And it's very much related to giving up things in your home life and sort of allowing home and family life to become more of a magical, mystical experience that can dissolve under the auspices that God is divine and connected to all. One doesn't have to physically live in a specific home to be connected to everything. And there's a sense of spirituality and divine energy around home and family life that allows you to make those changes in your day-to-day routine and do unexpected things that are related to your health and how you can be of service to other people, so that your self-worth and the income that you're earning and your finances may change in a way that allows a new beginning in terms of what your value is and how you receive resources from other people. Now on to Capricorn. So for Capricorns, we're looking at brand new relationships. On this new moon, how is somebody mothering and nurturing you and feeding you from an emotional point of view? Where and who makes you feel like you are at home and that you want to have a home and family with, and who makes you feel supported and who allows you to be in the moment about your emotional world. Where do you feel comfortable enough to feel and share how it is what you are feeling? Those relationships are incredibly important for you. Is who is allowing you to become more of a better mother to others and yourself. So relationships are very, very much highlighted. And the change here for all the Capricorns has, of course, been going on for at least 2.5 years with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. And this new moon is highlighting again how much you've grown, how much more empowered you feel over the changes in the last 2 years, because it's been really big changes for all the Capricorns. With that big cycle of Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which only happens every 36 years, happening in the sign of Capricorn. So here's a reminder, and on this new moon, is that you have changed, you've grown, you're far more empowered, thanks to the relationship changes that you've experienced in the last 2 years. And it is unexpected surprises from an area in your life related to romance, to children, to having fun, to expressing yourself in a playful way, that are allowing you to communicate in a far more connected way to God, to that is all unconditional love, whatever you may call that. So by expressing yourself and communicating unconditional love in a very romantic, exciting way, there is a liberation, a cathartic growth, an empowerment for your own self. It's almost like a self-discovery of a deeper kind that is very liberating, like the light is shining within you. It's like, wow, I've learned so much around who it is that I am, and with that I can be more authentic and more open in how I feel and nurture and care for others and myself in relationships. For all the Aquarians, this new moon is definitely related to your health and how you are of service to other people. There is a need to reflect and look at your service as being like a mother and caring for others. Perhaps it's also a time to look at your own health. It's that area of your life where you look at your health and your day-to-day routines. And here my advice would be, are you eating properly? Are you sleeping properly? Are you nurturing yourself? Because it's not just about being of service to other people, it's also about being a mother to yourself, is very prevalent for all the Aquarians. These huge changes that have occurred for you are deeply in the unconscious, that over the last 2 years or so, with Pluto in Capricorn, with the Saturn conjunction, where there's a sense of loss and letting go of a family life that you've known and a way of being that has been incredibly transformative and has allowed you to be a mother in a different way. This nurturing and looking after mothers and being a mother to self, and the whole day-to-day routine of family life has been quite disruptive in the last year or two. And this is a time to reflect on that during this new moon, and to realize that there's a spiritual dimension to life, and that we aren't always in control of everything we'd like to be, maybe our ego wants to be. And it's about just kind of letting go and trusting and connecting to your soul as a guideline, as a PowerPoint to assist you going forward. Go quiet, pray, spend time alone to connect to your own inner strength. The changes that are stimulating this way of thinking are very much about home and moving. Uranus is in that area of your life that has activated big changes in your home. Maybe you've relocated, maybe you've bought a new property, maybe you moving to a different continent, maybe you're in your same house but you've just painted the walls differently. Perhaps it's just your own inner psychology that has had this sense of great awakening and this need for realization that you need to change if you want to grow. There's a sense of awakening that comes through home and family life and creating home for yourself. And this area of faith and belief and just trusting is very much related to your self-esteem. It's like, just trust that there'll be enough finances, the finances will come. It's about believing and trusting in your own self-worth and knowing that financially you will be okay in this new lifestyle that is asking for immense changes around home life, and also making you aware of your unconscious patterns and your subconscious patterns. Dr. Bruce Lipton always talks about 95% of the time we're living unconsciously the patterns that we inherited from our parents as we grew up. And if Pluto is in that area of your chart, which is what's happening for the Uranian people, it is Aquarian people. It is a time of awakening and realizing if you're conscious, the 5% of consciousness that you can activate will empower you so that you don't feel oppressed by old conditioning. And then lastly, but not least, is for all the Piscean. So I'm reading this mostly for ascendants, but it can be sun and moon, of course, as well. For you, this new moon is happening in a really fun place, that of fun, romance, holidays, children, expressing yourself creatively. And this is a time to reflect of how can you be more of that going forward. How can you be more of an idealistic, imaginative person, more creative, more in tune with your soul, with God, with universe, so that you can communicate in a more innovative way towards groups of friends and hopes and dreams in your life that have completely changed over the last 2 years. Pluto is in an area of your life where it is activating this need to let go of a certain group of people or society or friends that no longer serve you, and find people that will empower you. Be around people, have hopes and dreams that empower you. Move away from any oppressed relationships that you have had, because this new moon is allowing you the opportunity to say, through my thinking, through the words, through hearing, through communications, maybe through something that I read or hear from a neighbor or from a sibling, I can actually become more of a unconditional loving human being. Knowing that I have unconditional love and I shine that light within me, I can then give more and be more creative and be more loving towards those around me. So that's all from me. I'm going to check out here from Adam's calendar to all of you, and perhaps I'll end off with moving off to Horus, the monolith that is here at this site that represents the ancient Egyptian god, the falcon god, who represents light and connects to the sun and is the son of Osiris and Isis, and is everything to do with leadership and shining and radiating our light. If we think of a falcon flying up and having eagle vision, and if one sees something from above, one has a better view of everything. So I'm going to end off walking across to here. I'm at Adam's calendar all around me. Thank you for all of those that joined me today. And let's have a look at this beautiful monolith. I'm going to flip my camera. There we go. So here lies what used to stand this 3-meter tall monolith with the falcon-shaped bird head lying upside down. His body represents the universe, his eyes, the sun and the moon. And as he stood here many, many thousands of years ago, the tribe that laid these stones laid in alignment with the sun rising here on this beautiful escarpment of Mpumalanga. And of course the ancient tribes, already knew our connection to. They would see the sun rise here. They would see the sun set on the other side of Adam's calendar, and they would align these big monoliths in place so that they would know where in the year cycle they were. And they also understood that without the sun we wouldn't have life, and with that honored it. And I think that all the tribes that have come down through Africa, all the pyramids in the Sudan and the Dogon and other stone circles throughout Africa, eventually marked, those are the two rocks I've been sitting in between, and the Horus rock is right down there in the east, and then here is the west, where this little hole is. There used to stand a big road, big marker, which is now, somebody took it out to put a signpost in the road. So between the big mark that was here, that one and that one, this is the west. So this is the vernal equinox. And then off to the south, the north, that would be the winter solstice going through those rocks. That's the northern point of the Adam's calendar. That's the southern point. And then over here, you'd have the summer solstice, all marking time as the shadow of the sun that would be setting behind us. You can see the shadow of this rock in front of me here falling that way, right? Because it's afternoon now and the sun's behind me. And then these big markers here, this one is said to be cut out so that the shadow, Michael Tellinger reckons this has been cut out so that the shadow of this rock falls onto the calendar, Adam's calendar. And we can see my bags here. This is where I've been sitting. You can see how the shadow is now on that rock. And of course, many thousands of years ago, when this was accurately set up, that's the northern part of it, that rock was vertical and straight, and so was that one up more, standing straight here. And the ancients would have laid it out so that the shadow of this falls onto the calendar, and then they would know, okay, this is a time to sow seeds and crops, and this is a time not to sow seed and crops, etc. So here we are at this ancient, stunning Adam's calendar. Thank you all for listening. Love you lots. Bye.